Hi, welcome everybody, and thanks for your time on this webinar, The Value of Telefonica Tech's Blueprint for Digital Forensics. Really appreciate the time. We know that you all hold very important jobs and time is more and more precious these days, so thanks for joining the webinar. If we move into it, just going into the speakers today. So my name is Will Wilkinson. I am Head of Account Technology Strategy at Telefonica Tech. Pleased to be joined by Anthony Jones and Mark Lees. Anthony, would you like to do a little introduction of yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Anthony Jones. Good afternoon, everybody. I am the full-time technical lead on the project, which is running at Leicestershire Police. I've been at Leicestershire Police for 18 years, last 8 years in our digital hub, a number of years within the cybercrime unit, kind of double hatting on investigations and digital forensics. So that's myself.
Mark, over to you.
Thanks, Will. Thanks, Anthony. Hey, everyone. So it's Mark Lees, VP of Platform Solutions at Magnet. Found myself very strangely been in and around digital forensics in law enforcement for pretty much 20 years now, the last 10 of which, actually coming up to my 10-year anniversary at Magnet, has been working here. So
forensics. So as we all know, digital forensics units around the country are all collecting a vast quantity of devices from a vast quantity of different types of storage media, different types of devices, cloud data, etc., etc. So volumes are growing. And I think, myself and everybody else that's attending this will agree with me that we were struggling to cope with that demand. So something had to change. And one of the things that we recognised is a need for innovation, automation, and getting that data, that evidence back to our investigators in a more timely manner. So as we see there, queues for devices in our forensics labs were increasing. So we needed a solution, a platform that would ultimately allow us to tackle those challenges. Device processing time was taking too long. We were running quite traditional digital forensics unit methods whereby we were processing using desktop digital forensics applications on physical workstations, graphics cards.
How much has changed really in your agency, in the work you're doing in your lab? Anthony spoke about a kind of what is now a very dated approach with old infrastructure, old tools, kind of one person doing one job at a time on one single desktop machine, and teams just cannot keep up. The old process now is not close to being fit for purpose. And actually we're seeing now the impacts on that really, really cut through to the front line and to prosecution. So you've got teams working in silos. The data is kind of on a little island, but all the while it's kind of coming through faster with the different data sources. Will, I think you mentioned car, vehicle data as well. So what we see actually is probably people like Anthony and others in a fabulous community is this superhuman effort to kind of keep up and kind of arm wrestle this process through, but it really cannot carry on. And there is more and more risk of missing evidence. So this like born for another. If we get it right, the device data, the digital forensics data, it can be, and it often is, the most powerful source of intelligence and evidence. And if we get it right, it can be really high quality, really impactful, and actually relatively low cost relative to other areas of policing. So yes, there's investment needed. I think, Anthony, you said you've got to get this together so you can win the funding in new business cases. Have a look at the website. We've got this this investigative edge idea that if you get this right, that the data that Magnet helps you acquire, unlock, process, analyze, store, and manage through the various tools all coming into the Magnet One platform now, it truly helps investigators, and that cuts through to the communities and the individuals you're trying to protect in law enforcement. So really committed to helping.
I mentioned earlier, obviously Leicestershire Police have partnered with Telefonica Tech and Magnet Forensics to implement our digital forensics network. With that, there's obviously infrastructure, there's applications, and it all wrapped up together. We've called that the DFNet. Now, some of you may have heard DFNet mentioned, so I just want to give a quick thanks to the National Crime Agency for our shared usage of that DFNet abbreviation. I don't believe they've trademarked it just yet, so we're okay to continue to use it. But yeah, DFNet is our platform that we've built. So that's our on-prem private cloud, our Microsoft Azure public cloud, our Magnet applications layered over the top as that platform together, all working in partnership together. So we've deployed our on-prem private cloud services via HPE GreenLake, which gives us a scalable consumption-based model to handle large volumes of digital forensics data. That wrapped up with that as well. We've got high-performance GPU-enabled nodes and tiered storage to support automation throughout the whole solution with Magnet Automate. We're also leveraging Microsoft Azure for cost-effective case archiving. And that's also where Magnet Review for us is sat as well. So we've made the decision to put Magnet Review in Microsoft Azure.
So this is the Magnet Automate case dashboard. This provides a really good snapshot of the overall health of the environment and any key notifications, such as cases that have perhaps failed due to errors or processing errors. As you'll see here on the left-hand side, we've got notifications. This is obviously a pre-prod test environment. It's usual that we'd expect some critical warnings as we've been doing some testing. In the middle here, we've got a summary of our digital forensics Magnet Automate processing nodes. There's a summary there of the health of them. All of them are green at the moment. On the right-hand side is the overall case status, where we've got a summary of kind of the proportion of successful cases, how many are in progress, which ones have failed, etc., etc. And then down the bottom, we've got a summary of existing cases, cases that are processing. There's none in the queue at the moment that are processing. And then we've got below completed cases, basically listed below. So this is the Magnet Review web-based review application. This is the case dashboard. So this is the view that an investigator would see when they log into Magnet Review to access their digital forensics cases. So here I'm going to go into a test case to show you the kind of full functionality of the environment. So I'm going to go into this test case here. And what you'll see is on this screen, you'll see that it provides a very good snapshot to an investigator of what's going on across the whole case. You'll see here that we've got 3 exhibits loaded in: a Windows computer, an Android mobile phone, and an iPhone. And it gives the investigator a very good snapshot of how many artifacts or potential breadcrumbs or evidential items that have been left behind by the suspect in this case. Again, it provides a nice snapshot of the types of evidence and where the vast majority of that evidence sits in terms of the artifact categories. So you see here that we've got a lot web related, we've got a lot of media, and then we've got a bit of other things like communication, etc., falling down below. It gives you a snapshot of the conversations, gives you a snapshot of the top locations. So you see
on this partnership as well. I think there's 2 aspects of it. Kind of one more internal in policing, which is digital forensics teams, I think, have carried a really big burden for a long time. And I think those partnerships internally that respect the change that needs to happen. So I tend to see as an indicator for success these days, where you get the buy-in of senior leadership, that commitment to a business case and a partnership between forensics and IT. I think that's so crucial. It's very tough to solve this on your own. Why should digital forensics not be? To me, the power of the data and the impact in investigation, it needs to mature now and be a core policing platform, just like the crime recording or intelligence systems. If anything, I'd argue this can be even more impactful in so many ways. And then obviously between, our Anthony and Leicestershire Police, but also Magnet consistently see the agencies that have that self-awareness. Can we do this? It's not a cheap project relative to some traditional digital forensics. We're just buying software tools. But the ones who don't think about the deployment, modernizing that, it tends to be where it goes wrong in my experience. So whether it's on-prem, hybrid, hosted cloud, as Magnet moves towards even some of these components being delivered as a SaaS solution, I just think it's so key to invest in this in a more mature way. And I think this has got everyone set up for success here. And it's absolutely crucial that it matures now, just in the way that this project demonstrates.
Yeah, and we've gone from a history of having a single allocated resource in IT to support our business area to now a team of tens of people across multiple continents, all vetted, security assured, etc., etc. So we've now got a huge scalable team behind us and the backing of, Telefonica Tech and Magnet Forensics hand in hand to kind of really work with us over the next 5 to 7 years. So,
it's truly transformative when you get it right. I know in North America. We've got tons of agencies. I know there's some great case studies on the website. I know Nashville Metro Police, and actually at the Magnet User Summit, which we host in Nashville annually, we did a tour of the Nashville lab, and people are coming away from that like really seeing it. So this is real now. You know, you are days, weeks, sometimes months down to hours to get data from a device into the hands of an investigative officer who can use it. So there's a number in the UK and globally, and I think, you know, tons of customers who could speak to this. The reality is as well, it takes planning, it takes some iteration for most. There's some design, some implementation, but the results are there, and they are loud and clear for those who've got it right. And I'm sure we'll see.
Yeah. What I just want to add as well, Mark, as well as speaking from my own personal experience with our various different business cases that we've had to submit throughout this process. If we were doing Magnet Automate and automation on its own, I can say that we wouldn't be here today talking about the success of this project, because our project wasn't approved solely on automation. What really unlocked it for us was that partnership of having the tools working together. And the strongest partnership here is the automation and the web-based review platform. So automate and review working together. And actually the product that I'm most excited about to get in front of our investigators is actually Magnet Review. We've done our Magnet Review onboarding session with a small user sort of test group, and the feedback was phenomenal. It was just like, you know, it was going, you know, centuries ahead of where we've been, which is, you know, running off PDFs and Excels and portable cases, to this, you know, multi-user, multi-case, multi-exhibit, you know, web-based review platform. I mean, that's
just wrapping up again. Big thanks to everyone for joining and listening in. Again, no time is massively precious, and massive thanks to Anthony from Leicestershire and Mark from Magnet Forensics as well. So thanks everyone. I think we'll wrap it up there.